All right, everyone, I'm going to teach you how to start your annotated bibliography and use in-text and works cited citations. So I'll be referring to in-text and parenthetical citations interchangeably, which means that most of the time I'll call them parenthetical citations, but it's just important for you to know that they're in the text. They're inside what you write. So based upon just the information that I gave you before this video in the PowerPoint, there are two types. You have your works cited page at the end, and then the in-text or parenthetical citations inside the text. So the first thing that I have to do first, before I can start anything, is I have to create my document. So up here you can see that I have my name as the student and annotated bib, so that I know in my Google Drive that's what that is. Then I'm going to go in and label it appropriately for MLA. Now make sure that, I believe the margin should be here at 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. There we go. Make sure you're not typing this all in the header, because if you type it in the header, every single thing is going to be in the header. So you want to make sure that you are typing it underneath the header. But I am heading my paper here, just not in the header. So I'm going to write my name as the student. I'm going to write my teacher's name, the due date, the class, and then the due date. And you're going to want to write it appropriately per MLA, which is the number, the month, and the year. So 18 of April is when this is due. 18 April 2019. All right, then I'm going to hit enter, and immediately I'm going to center it. Once I center it, I'm going to write the title, and the title is Annotated Bibliography. You don't need to do anything fancy here. I'm going to hit enter one time and go back over to the side of the page. At this point, I'm not going to double space it. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to leave it as is. I will double space and do everything later on. So the next thing I have to do is start. At this point, I'd be writing my introduction. So for you guys, I'm just going to remind you what's in the introduction. A broad statement, connecting sentences, thesis. And you will understand that this entire thing right here will be a paragraph, with the last sentence being your thesis statement. Goodness. All right, I'm going to hit enter again. I'm not going to indent. I'm going to leave it as is, because the next thing I need to do is put in my works cited citation. And I showed you an example of that on the PowerPoint slide before this video. And so right now I'm going to show you how I made it, how I got to that point. So up here at the top, you can see 3 of the articles that I have read for my paper. I'm going to write about Emmett Till in my paper. And I've read each of these articles. They're great articles. They help back up my thesis statement. And they just work out really great. So I'm going to take one of them. I'm going to take this. No, I'm going to take the PBS one. And I'm going to create a works cited citation for this source. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to Google Purdue OWL. And these directions are all in the PowerPoint, which will be shared to you, or is shared to you right now. So once I'm there, I'm just going to click Purdue OWL. And from this point on, there are a lot of options on the side. We are doing MLA format, so you are going to want to click MLA. And once you're there, it's going to give you a lot of other options. We want to make sure that under the MLA style, we go to Formatting and Style Guide, because I've kind of given you an introduction and an overview already. And here you have a general format if you want to look at it, but mainly it's going to show you examples of what kind of citations you should be using. In each one of these cases up here at the top, the citations are from a page on a website. That is the majority of what you'll be using. And you know it's a page on a website because if you come up here and look at the backslash, 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 it's like we're going deeper and deeper into the website every time. If I click on videos or features or the schedule here, or I search, it takes me to another page on the website. So I know that I'm going to be using a page on a website. I'm going to go back to MLA or Purdue OWL, and I'm going to click electronic sources because I did get this from a computer on the internet. And then even after that, it gives me a lot of options here. So now I'm on electronic sources. I'm going to ask you to please steer clear from this. This is Citation Machine. They have just in the last year put this into Purdue OWL. It is not accurate. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. That means that 100% of the time it does not work. That kind of means that it's wrong. Maybe it's like 80, but whatever. I've tried it so many times, and every time something was wrong. I had to go back and add something. I would rather you look at the example and plug things in like a puzzle than do this the easy way, because it's not going to get you a good grade. I'm going to tell you that right now. I was kind of disappointed they put it in there. So I'm going to go down until I find a page on a website. That's what I'm using. And you can see all of the examples, citing an entire website, which probably means there are no backslash, backslash. Okay. Oh, there's a page on a website. That's what I'll be using. And that's the example that I showed you in the PowerPoint. However, I'm going to come down and show you even more. If you wanted to cite an image, if you wanted to cite an article on a web magazine, so let's say that something like the New York Times or something like that put out an article, you could do that here. An article in an online scholarly journal. So let's say you're looking through, what is that called? Academic One File on the AEA's website. You would use that. And sometimes they actually give you it, so you don't have to worry about those that much. They'll give you the citation. And that's what this one is, one from an online database of some type. I like these down here, though. Emails, like including interviews, a listserv or discussion group, or a blog posting, a tweet, a YouTube video. Some of you are doing that right now. You're watching YouTube videos about like the Scottsboro boys. There's a way to cite that. A comment on a website or article. I'm not really sure why you'd cite that. But if you want to, it's there. There even is a way to, like, let's say you are watching a Netflix video. They talk about Netflix somewhere in here. So there is a way to cite everything. You just need to know what you're citing. So I know that in my 3 cases, and most likely in yours, besides YouTube that I've seen so far, you will be citing a page on a website. So I'm going to go back to where that screenshot was on your PowerPoint, and here it is. As we talked before, you have the article title, you have the website, the date that it was published, if there is a publishing date. Sometimes there aren't. There wasn't in the example that I showed you, and the website. However, there are other things that are important that sometimes your website doesn't have. Like an author. In this one right here, we know that there's an author. There isn't an author on the one that I just chose. There's no author here. So, sorry. My daycare lady needs diapers soon. Good to know, Brenda. There's no author on this one, so I'm going to leave that blank. If you can't find it, don't put it in there. Okay, so now I feel like I'm ready to make a works cited citation. And I'm going to do that like the following. I'm going to plug in the pieces of the puzzle. So this says that I need to have either the author or the next best thing, which is the article title, first. I'm going to go back here. The article title is The Trial of J.W. Millam and Roy Bryant. Those are the men accused of murdering that poor boy. Not just murdering him. So I'm going to go back over here, and sometimes I like to copy and paste this in so I don't have to go back and forth writing. But I'm going to do it just like I would before. So the trial of J.W. Millam and Roy Bryant. I believe there was a period after this, but I'm not sure. I apologize for that. So I'll go back. That's real attractive. I'll go back and look. Yep, it's a period. You have to be pretty finicky here. It's a period. I'm going to put a period here. Quotations. Then I'm going to put in the website. And I can find the website usually in the top left corner. Here it is, PBS. Let's test out the other ones too. Let's see if they're all in the top left corner. Nope, this one's not. This one's right here. Biography. Website. Library of Congress. Website. So I would hope that all of them are close to the top. More than likely they will be. It's pretty easy. It's usually a logo. Like you can see PBS is up here as their logo. All right. So I'm going to put in PBS, and I know that I need to italicize that based upon what Purdue Owl said. There's a comma after this one. I know that. And then I need to go to the next thing, which is the publishing date. Okay? Is there a publishing date? Let's look. It's usually at the top of the article, and it's not there. So I looked at the bottom. It's not there either. Okay? If it's not there, don't put it. You're flexible here. Not there. So if there's no publishing date, we go to the next one. And the next one is the URL. Sorry, I'm videotaping something. That's super awkward. So the next one is the URL. He really just wants to clean my room and I feel bad. Oh well. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy and paste the URL right in there. I'm not going to worry about anything except for font. Maybe I'll have to change the font. So let's find out. Paste. Okay. I'm going to keep it as a URL like this because when your teacher goes and grades this, she's going to want to, or he, I suppose, is going to want to click on this so that they know if you are telling the truth. So if you are someone who feels like you might just cheat your way through this, don't do it because I will be able to just click on that article and know that you did a terrible job. You plagiarized. Please don't plagiarize. All right, I'm going to put a comma. And then after that, I believe I just have to put the date that I accessed it. This one doesn't have it. I don't know why. Maybe they forgot the date. If you don't know it, don't put it. But more than likely, you're going to know the date that you accessed it because it was either yesterday or today or whatever. So I'm going to put today's date, which actually I'm videotaping this yesterday for you, but we'll call it today. It's kind of confusing. Which is the 9th. 9 April 2019. Oh, I forgot to put accessed. Accessed. 9 April 2019. Period. Okay. After that, I am going to highlight it and I'm going to format this correctly. So the way that anybody will be able to tell that this is a works cited page is that it'll have a hanging indent, which means that I'm going to take this whole thing over to the one, just what I've highlighted. Don't you do all of it. And then I'm going to take the top part and I'm going to bring it back to where it was. That will show your audience what the most important thing on here was. And the most important thing is the title or the author. Okay, from here on out, I'm done with that citation. I read it. I know it really well, so I can start the process of writing my annotated bibliography or these 3 paragraphs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure everything that I write is right here. So for now, I'm going to put it, this one, back to where it came from, right here. And I'm going to get started. This one is the summary. So I'm just going to write summary so you're aware. The summary of the article. So this paragraph will be the summary of the article. My next paragraph will be how it ties into the thesis statement. And I'm writing that down. You will actually write these paragraphs. I don't want you to have to write me do that. Watch me do that. How it ties into the book is my third paragraph. So in a perfect world, I would have written all of those. So now I'm going to show you how to take this citation and put an in-text citation inside here by either quoting, paraphrasing, or summarizing. So let's say in the first article, I summarized. Oh my gosh, I did, because it's literally a summary of the article. At the end of that summary, I'm going to put the most important thing into the in-text. In the example, I showed you the author and the page number, and that works for any book, but this isn't a book. It's a document or it's a page on a website online. So I can't put a page in the author's name. First of all, there is no author here. So if I were to order these, I'm going to just highlight these for you for a second. I would say the first thing, good gravy. I need to do this when I don't feel like garbage. The first thing is the most important thing. We'll call that yellow. Yellow is number one. The next thing, I don't care what it is the second most important thing. And the third thing, I don't care what it is the third most important thing. It's as easy as that. And I'm just going to have these available so you see that I'm going to refer to them as yellow, blue, and pink. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So the most important thing is yellow, always yellow. It doesn't matter if you have an author or it doesn't matter if there is no author. Whatever the first thing on there is the most important thing. Because when I scroll my finger down this annotated bibliography, that's the first thing I'm going to see. And that's also how you alphabetize it, because don't forget it needs to be alphabetized. So, summary of the article. I just wrote it. At the end of the summary, the entire paragraph, I have to cite because I just took all of that information from that article. So I'm going to do it exactly like I have it here. I have to put, and this will be inside your last sentence, I have to put parentheses and quotations and probably the first few words. And the reason why I need to put the first few words instead of all of it is because not all of my articles start with the trial. This article title is called Emmett Till. This one is called The Murder of Emmett Till. So I'll be able to differentiate it just with two words, the trial. Okay, period at the end. It's as easy as that. But let's say that in this article, or in this annotated bibliography, I write something like this. In the article titled The Trial of J.W. Millam and Roy Bryant, the author points out that blah, 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 blah. Okay, I write the rest of my sentence. I've already used number one in the sentence here, or the yellow. I've already used yellow. I can't use yellow again. Once I've used it in a paragraph once, I can't use it again. So I have to go to blue, the next best thing. And I have to do it exactly like it is in here. And we know, well, not highlighting, but we know that it is italicized. And that is only if you've already used number one. So if you say in the article titled this, you don't put that title at the end. You put the next thing because it's just redundant, if that makes sense. Okay. Now this will be the same with quotations. This will be the same with paraphrasing and a summary like I just showed you. And remember the difference between the three. When you quote, you take it word for word from the text. When you paraphrase, you take like 1 or 2 sentences and you change it to 1 or 2 sentences in your own words. And then a summary is taking that large article and dwindling it down to just the main points in a couple sentences or a paragraph or whatever. I'm going to change all of this back to transparent now. So that is how you do in-text citations, and that is how you do a works cited. I know that I'll probably have lots of questions here, which is fine. It's not always perfect. Some weird things usually come up with citations, and that's totally fine. But this is how you do it for the most part. If there is that weird thing that happens, we'll just handle it situation from situation. So I guess you guys have all the info now, or you can take what articles you found and you start summarizing them and you start telling me how they connect with your thesis statement. Don't forget that you need 2 quotes per text or per source. So more than likely, you would probably put that in how it ties in with the thesis statement paragraph and how it ties in with the book. You can quote the book if you want to, but no matter what, you need at least 2 quotes. You're always going to have citations, though, in almost every single paragraph because you have to cite your summary and you have to cite the paraphrasing as well. That's the quotes. So I hope this was clear. I hope that I didn't confuse any of you. Don't forget to look at these examples. You just fill in the. If it has an author, you put the author first. If it has a title, you put the title. Then the website. Oh my goodness, but what if it has a publication date? Great, you put that in too. If it doesn't, no big deal. And do not use this because it's wrong. Sorry about it. All right. Well, peeps, peace out. Ask me any questions if you have any.